G'day everyone, welcome to another edition of Craps Down Under. Today I'm going to play a different strategy. Last night I was playing craps with my partner and she was doing very successfully on the field. So I figured let's try something with the field. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. It is based on an iron cross. And what we do is we only start with the 6 and 8. And what we're actually doing is concentrating more of our bet on the field, where typically when you play an iron cross, you put at least more on the 6 and 8 or 5, 6 and 8 than you do on the field. So I'm playing it very differently. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start with $30 on the 6 and 8, and so nothing on the field on the 5. I'm going to put 70 on the field. A couple more, 70 on the field. So that's kind of how we start. Now the 5's going to lose. What we're going to do is when we get our first profit from the field, I always will press my field one time. When we get our first profit from the field after a press wins, we'll then put a wager up on the 5. On the 6 and 8, when they win, they're obviously not going to replace the field, so we will replace the field out of our bankroll, but we will use the winnings here and press the bet up here. So the next time that hits, it will then perfectly replace the field. So the idea is we are really focusing more on the field action. So anyway, that kind of worked for my partner last night. She was able to take $1,000 up to $10,000, playing mostly the field. So it was kind of incredible. And she's not a craps player, and she was able to just demolish any of the strategies I was playing. So it was quite amazing, and that's why I'm going to try something here. Based on what she was doing, I kind of had this little idea, and I started to use a play similar to this, and I was actually doing quite well with it. Now you could also run this with a don't pass bet as well. I'm just going to run it as it is, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you could certainly put like a $70 don't to cover at least maybe these bets, but I honestly think it's just not worth the trouble. We'll just run it and see how we go. So anyway, we're coming out, and straight off the bat we've got midnight, which you can't ask for better than that. So I've got to basically pay double, and there we go. So I can straight away pick up my 5. Now I'm not going to pick it up the full amount. I'm just putting basically a half amount on the 5. All right, so we let that run there, and I will probably just do a half press and put the rest in my rack. And let's go. And we've got a 5. So we lose this actually, so I left more than what I was supposed to there. I was meant to be a half, oh that's right, half press, that was correct. So a half press. So we lose all of this, but the 5 pays 35. We put that straight on the 5, we lose all of that, and then we fund the rest out of our bankroll. So we fund the 70 out of our bankroll, go straight up. Now I should be tracking the point. It's not really, doesn't really matter for this purpose of this. We're just running it out. Whenever the 7, we wipe the board clean. So 4, so we win there. 70, it's a parlay, and there's a 7. So down we go. But the interesting thing I noticed is you didn't need too much to go right before you actually got some significant profit. So we didn't do that well on that one, but that's okay. Let's see how we go. New shooter coming out. Everything's working, of course. I may have forgot to mention that. So we lose this. We do get paid for the 6. We get paid that. So we use that, press up, and we go straight back in the field. for $70. And there's a 7 straight away. So down we go. Oops. My stack has got too big. Of course, our bankroll is getting depleted. Alright, so let's go back up. Yep, that's 40. Sorry, 70. Alright, new dice coming out. 7 again. So of course I don't think in our run last night when we were playing the field that we had quite so many back-to-back 7s, because we are going through our bankroll. Might get some more 1s. And sorry, more 1s, more reds I should say. Get a couple more. Right, so there we go. And 2. Maybe I'll get a few more greens. Alright. Okay. Let's get set up again. Coming out. 9. Pays. It's nice to not have a 7 come. Parlay. And we've got a yo, so that wins. So we win basically 100, 140. So what I will do, I'll put that back in our rack. I'll put a 25 here. And we just go back down to our $70 amount. Got a 6, so this loses. But the 6 gets paid 35. So we press up the 6 to 30. And we go back and put our 70 in the field. We've got a 4. Okay, so that wins another 70. Parlay. Got an 8. So we lose all of that, but we get paid that there. This all gets lost. 8 gets parlayed up, and I need 3 there, not 4. So this works great obviously if you get lots of field numbers. 6, so nothing happens here. That gets paid 70 because it's been pressed up. 6 again, nothing happens. 6 again, nothing happens. 6 again, nothing happens. So quite a few 6s. There's a 4. So finally we get one. That was a crazy run of 6s. Parlay. 10. Alright, so we win that one. Four, and there we go, 4. Alright, so not too bad. Shuck all that back in our rack. Might have to get some greens back here. Let's colour a few of these up. There's some greens. 2 greens there. And let's keep trucking. 5. So that's a case where we lose that. We get paid 35. And the idea is we press that up. We use those 2. Go back up to 70 here. And we've got a 9. That pays 70. Parlay. And got an 8, so that one we lose. The 8 replaces it. And here you're just really just shooting for the field. That's the whole point of this, is to just shoot for the field. 6, so we get nothing. I'll pull that back. Basically replaces it. 6 replaces it again. So if we're on the 6, we'd be doing really well. There's a yo. We win it back. 9, we win it again. All right, so take this all back into our rack. Probably have to colour one of these reds up now. Colour one of those up, that's $100, goes back there. Too many reds. So, but basically we are ahead, and we have all of this pressed up. Now we could follow the shooter rules of, you know, how many they've done. I'm not actually really paying attention to what the shooter's doing with this. I'm just shooting for field numbers. But you could say, look, we've got, you know, 30, 30, 25 pressed up, so that's another $70. Plus what we've got on the felt is 70. So we're actually, you know, you're actually pretty close to your profit target right now. So let's just do a stock take of where we're at. Just looking at where we're at. Pull this all back. All right. All right, so nothing more will fit in there. So let's say that's 500 there. 2, 3, 4. Another 100 here. I'll take that one back. Get ourselves a black chip. So that's our original bankroll, right? Now we did have a little bit left over, but that more than covers. So I think we had 30. Was it 31 or 26? It was something like, I just can't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't a lot. So see where we're at. Call these up. It doesn't really take much to happen in the field, and you do really well out of it. 2, 3. All right, there we go. All right, so 275. Sorry, 300. I mean. So 306. I'll take it. We're done. Session's over. So let me know what you think about that one. It's kind of it can be volatile. Let's colour those up to blacks. Now I think we did have 12, no that's right, I made a mistake. We actually had 1200 in our rack, so that was my bad. There's 1200, so we're not quite where we need to be. So remember we got our bankroll to 1200, so it wasn't 1000. So that's my bad. So we are back to 1200, but again we've at least got some profit. Let's keep going. Let's keep going with this. So we'll go back to where we were, and let's get some reds. And what else do we need to do? Put 4 on here. 2, 3, 4. So yeah, we are up $100, but not where we needed to be. Get this up to 60. And that was it. I think we only had our 500. I'll leave my 500 at that anyway. Let's keep rolling. Got 4. Okay, so that's another 70. And we've got a yo. So that's, in fact, I don't even need to pay it out that way. Just pay it out as 140. One less. 140, chuck that back in my rack. So here we've got 140, plus we've got another 70 there. We're probably about where we need to be. Let's do our stock take again. As I said, it doesn't take that much to go right for you to do really well. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Get this one back. That comes a black. 4. So 25. Those 4 there makes another black. Whoops. Alright, take all that back. It's all been coloured up. So there we've got 1,000. We've got 1,500 here. So we're up $315, $16. Alright. So total bankroll 15, 16. Alright, so 1,516. I will colour these up, get back blacks. In fact, oh no, I will. I'll get back blacks. Because what I want to do, I want to start my new bankroll over here. $300. Got my 1,200 here. This is my starting bankroll. It's not too bad. Made our profit target. Profit target with a $1,200 bankroll is $240 to maybe $320, somewhere there. So we made the upper end of our profit target. But again, it only takes a couple of field hits back to back, and you've already made a good chunk of your profit target. You know, you're going to make $70 on your first hit. The second hit is 140. So 140 plus 70 is 210, right? You're basically asking to get a couple of fields back to back to break the back of your profit target. The rest of the time here, we're putting the minimum amount here. Yes, we'll fund the field out of our bankroll maybe 3 times at most. Obviously, if 7s come, they keep wiping the board flat. That's okay. You can use a don't if you want to do that to try and hedge that a bit. But the thing is, I actually like to have the field working on those come out rolls because, you know, you do cover, you know, a lot of the rubbish numbers that tend to happen on the come outs as well. So, so my kind of reason for bringing this play in is if I see situations where the board is not hitting these numbers that we've traditionally been going for, I may convert to playing this with a field, and rather treating the field as a sort of way, I've done it with a very modest bet here, which I call like a feeler bet. Rather than using a feeler bet, what I'm actually going for is I'm going for broke on the field. I'm literally saying, nah, the field's going great. Let's go, you know, go straight into it, and I'll minimise these and make these half the amount of what I'm putting on the field. So I actually think it works well when the field does hit. It does tremendously well. So, and as I said, I saw my partner just playing the field, and she built a 1K bankroll to 10K. Like, it was ridiculous how much she built. Now, yeah, she was doing some larger bets. As her bankroll got bigger, she just automatically just started betting bigger. But it was phenomenal how much growth that she was able to generate, especially when those 2s and 12s hit. It's insane. And especially if you got a parlayed up bet and you get a 2 or 12, you know, that's it. You've made your profit target for the session. So, and just having these here really just minimises the bleed that you would get replacing the field. Where, as I said, we'll happily accept 2 or 3 of these where we're funding the field out of our bankroll. Yes, that's a total of like 210. if we're playing $70 fields. You can play the field a little bit lower until you build these up. An alternative is if you had, say, let's say this, if you had this and say the 6 hits, you'd only get paid 35, right? So you can say, okay, 35, I'll press this to the $60 level, but because this bet only paid this, I'll just play it at the lower level. You could do that and just play at the lower level and basically use whatever the bet pays to be your next field until you get them all built up. That's another way of not having to put so much out of your bankroll to replace the field. But it also means if you get those nice field numbers and back-to-backs, you've now just halved your profit, or potentially quarter your profit. Because if you've had, say that, right, let's see the difference, right, there's 35 bucks. You get a field hit, great, another 35, right, so you parlay that. Now a 2 comes, or a 12, right, so fantastic, you say, all right, so you end up with a nice win, right, so you end up with that, all right, so that's that scenario. The other scenario is you started with this, with your 70, right, so you start with 70 and you get a win, you go, great. Parlay, right, so you parlay that, and then a 2 or 12 hits, same scenario, right, so 2 or 12 hits, I should have kept them segregated, right, but look how much more you end up. It's not like double, it's like 4 times. Right, it's a truck. It's a truck more than that. Right, you can visually see how much more you get by playing at that, especially when you get the back-to-back win, and especially if you get a double that comes on top of a back-to-back. Now, it's not going to happen all the time. I totally accept that, right? But when it does happen, this is 300. Yeah, it's more than 300, right? It's a ton of money. Easily makes up for some short-term drawdowns that you may have playing this style of play. So I actually think it's worth to just stick to the higher level. That's really, I think it's just well worth sticking to the $70 level. Don't reduce it down, because invariably you'll get a 6 followed by, you know, some kind of, you know, like a 9 or whatever it is, a 10, and then maybe you'll get the 2 or the 12 or something like that, and you're kicking yourself if you've just gone in at 35 when you could have been in at the higher amount. So that's the idea. Play these at half the field bet, press them up, replace, set the 5. Now I was showing you there, I was only putting the 25. You could go in at the 50 if you feel inclined to do that, but I prefer to just, I'm putting it there as a kind of potentially the 5 might come, and if it does come, then I'm only going to lose half of my wager. So it kind of pays for itself, where the worst thing is if I put that on it, just put that on it there, and it doesn't come, and I've wasted a whole, basically, hit of profit. So anyway, adjust to what you're comfortable with is what I'd suggest. But it worked, right? It actually worked. And yes, we'd had some drawdown, and I was expecting that would be the case, but it really did work. And I think it's another tool we can use when the 5, 6, 8s aren't hitting. I think it's a very useful way to do it, and it's a different type of iron cross. It's really different. I'm building the 5, and I'm having my 6 and 8 running at a loss for the field for at least a couple of hits. So I think, or at least 1 hit each. So maximum I'm probably going to use 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 hits in the very worst possible case before these are self-funding. So, and this is the thing, if you start seeing that, you can basically go, oh well, they're hitting the insides, let's not worry about the field, let's keep building this. You can switch from one to the other, so going by reading the table, because I know what we've been showing is 3 numbers, whether it's the 5, 6, 8 or the 6, 8, 9, we've been showing with 3 numbers. We don't have to stay doggedly to this. We can, use the lay bets when 7s are coming. We can use, concentrate more on the field when the field numbers are hitting, and less on these numbers, and let these ones build up based on if they hit or not. And that's kind of the idea there. So I think we can adapt to those different kind of conditions that we see at the table. So anyway, I'll leave it there. It was relatively short, but I thought it was worth having some explanation of the logic behind it, because I'm not really someone who thinks the field's a great bet. I don't actually think it's a great bet normally, just because of the house edge. But certainly parlaying, when you're getting back-to-back fields, that certainly does give you a real boost in your profit very quickly when it happens. So I think that does help to lessen the overall, I guess, the experience of what the house edge might be. You don't really care if you've got some house edge. If you're getting a back-to-back field number hit, you don't care. You've just made 3 times your base bet, and at the minimum, and it could be a lot more than that if you get a double. So we've now got 300 here as our next bankroll. We've got 1200 here in our rack, 1216 as I said. So I think we're well on our way to our 6K. If we did this a few more times, potentially we'll be at our 6K very, very quickly. So we'll play in my next session. I'll probably use a bunch of the different techniques, and we'll see how well we're able to transition between the different moves, I guess, or tools if you want to use that word. But they're different plays we can use to exploit the conditions. So I'll leave it there, and we'll see you again very soon.